Welcome to Introduction to Information Systems. This is the first topic in the IS area that we're going to explore. This is in line with chapter 1 of your book, which is titled Fundamentals of Information Systems by Ralph Stair and George Reynolds. Alright, let's review the outline first. First, we're going to talk about data, information, and knowledge. And then what is information systems or IS. And then we're going to explore value chain, followed by information systems in an organization. And we're going to review soft side of implementing change, and finally we're going to wrap up with careers in information systems. Let's start by watching a video about how American Eagle Outfitters, an apparel company, uses data-driven marketing to reach out to its core group of customers, the millennials.
They're young, cool, know all the digital channels, carry a short attention span, and sometimes they aren't even the ones who buy your product. Millennials. How does a retailer keep up with a 15 to 25-year-old set? American Eagle Outfitters keeps up with data-driven marketing.
They are thinking about you 1 minute and not thinking about you the next minute. So for us, the technology is making sure we keep them engaged, and we do that by having fun.
Founded in 1977, American Eagle Outfitters has a current yearly revenue of $3.3 billion with 7,000 employees and more than 1,000 brick-and-mortar stores in 80 countries. They know they need fast, agile, multi-channel marketing to keep in front of all their consumers.
American Eagle Outfitters is a data-driven marketing organization in the respect of collecting as much information as we possibly can, toiling with that information to personalize a message and get them to come to our stores and purchase our product.
Since every customer interaction presents an opportunity, American Eagle Outfitters integrated all customer data and now designs interactions to be personal and fitting with their brand, Live Your Life. American Eagle takes it further. They listen and pay attention to how the customer answers back.
If you visit our site or have our app, we try to make sure it's interactive. We try to give you opportunity to provide us feedback. We try to give you opportunity to make sure you can participate in the brand, whether it be by commenting about how you feel about our jeans or giving us some feedback in terms of what your experience was like with us at the direct perspective and the brick and mortar stores. So it's definitely a differentiator in terms of being as agile as we possibly can.
Employing integrated marketing management, American Eagle Outfitters optimized outbound campaigns, decreasing time to campaign from 6 to 8 hours to only 15 minutes, and getting a 50% increase in email open rates, a significant lift considering AEO sends 4 billion emails a year.
So, why does American Eagle Outfitters use data to reach out to its customers? Because data, together with its underlying engine, which is information systems, has proven to be effective, which leads to the need to understand what is data, what is information, and what is knowledge. This progression from data to information to knowledge is what we're going to learn about in this lecture. So first of all, what is data? A lot of times we get confused between what is data, information, and knowledge. They are actually technically different. So let's talk about each of them in the next 3 slides. So what is data? So data is basically raw facts. They come in different forms such as alphanumeric, numbers, letters, and other characters. They could be audio, they could be images, they could be video. Now let's look at this table here, which is data about 2 students, Alex and Jenny, and the exam grades or scores that they got. So if you look at every cell, it's just data. For example, we know that Alex got 100 points for exam 1 and Jenny got 96 for exam 2 and so forth. But other than that, data does not really help a lot. It's just data. So data by itself is not very useful. Hence the following question, what is information? So information is a collection of data organized in such a way that they have value beyond the facts themselves. Looking back at the same table again, we added a few pieces of additional information, which is that column on the right. That is the difference between exam 1 and exam 2 for each student, as well as the bottom row, which is the mean of exam 1 for the 2 students in that class and the mean for exam 2 for the same 2 students. And from this information, we can see that, oh, the average has gone down, or the mean has gone down from 99 to 79.5, which gives us some indication of either exam 2 is a lot harder, or students are not prepared for exam 2. But however, as you look at the difference between each individual students for exam 1 and exam 2, we can see that Jenny's difference is only about 2 points, whereas Alex's difference is huge, about 37 points. Perhaps Alex is having some additional problems beyond the normal rigor of the questions in exam, or other issues. So this type of information, notice that this is information but not data. So this type of information helps the faculty to then decide on additional actions that he or she can take to help the students to improve the exams and so forth. And then it leads to the next question. What is knowledge? Knowledge is actually awareness and understanding of a set of information and the ways it can be made useful to support a task. The process of defining relationships among data to create useful information, it requires knowledge. Let's say that we added additional information from last semester, which are the mean scores for exam 1 and exam 2, which is 95 for exam 1, 94 for exam 2. That additional knowledge helps us to better determine the actual problem that we're facing in this semester, especially for Alex. It helps us to understand that the challenges that Alex face is probably from other sources. So this is an example of knowledge. In addition, the knowledge that we gain from this set of information is helpful for us going forward to the future, as well as helpful to perhaps improve processes that we can put in to help future students in terms of better prepare for the exams in this class. We mentioned about process in the last slide. So what is process? Now, if we go through these 3 circles again, data is transformed into information through a process or multiple processes. And information is also transformed into knowledge through multiple processes. So what is a process? A process is a set of logically related tasks performed to achieve a defined outcome. So turning data into information is a process. By now, you should understand the importance of data going to information or going to knowledge. Hence, the quality of data is critical. Information should be accurate or complete. Otherwise, people make poor decisions, costing thousands or even millions of dollars. And depending on the type of data that you need, some characteristics become more important than others. There is a list of the characteristics, the different characteristics of information quality on table 1.2 on page 6. Please review those different types of characteristics. Out of those, accuracy and completeness are critical for data, especially those that are used in accounting and management of organizational assets. Now, information creates value, and this value that comes from information is directly linked to how decision makers achieve organizational goals. Valuable information helps people perform tasks more efficiently and effectively. Then on the flip side, inaccurate data can result in loss of potential new customers and reduce customer satisfaction. Now, underlying the whole data and information and knowledge is actually a framework of processes, and these are called information systems. So traditionally, these processes are manual, using paper as well as file folders, but today most processes are automated, which needs an information systems to run them. So what is an information systems? An information system is a set of interrelated elements that, number one, collect, process, store, and disseminate data and information. It also provides feedback mechanism to monitor and control its operation to make sure it continues to meet its goals and objectives. A computer-based information systems, or the acronym of CBIS, according to the book, is a single set of hardware, software, databases, networks, people, and procedures. Please remember these 6 components: hardware, software, databases, networks, people, and procedures. All these components are configured to collect, manipulate, store, and process data into informations. An organization's technology infrastructure includes all these 6 components. They are also configured to collect, manipulate, store, process data into information. Hence the importance of information systems. Now, here are the 6 components again, so that it is easier for you to see. We are going to go through all this throughout this section of your semester. The one that we're going to talk about right now is called procedures. So what are procedures? Procedure is defined as steps to follow to achieve a specific end result, such as you enter a customer order, or you pay a supplier invoice, or request a current inventory report. Using a CBIS or computer-based information systems involves setting and following many procedures, including those for operations, for maintenance, and security of the system. There are three fundamental types of information systems. The first one is personal IIS, which includes information systems that improve the productivity of individual users. Microsoft Suite is a good example. Excel, Word, these are predominantly information systems for individual use. The second group is the Group IS, which is software or systems that improve communications and support collaboration among members of a work group. So this type of software could be your cloud software such as Google Documents. The third group is the Enterprise IS, which includes information systems that organizations use to define structured interactions among their own employees and also for external customers, suppliers, government agencies, and so forth. Now, a lot of web-enabled applications on the cloud are examples of these enterprise information systems. Healthcare software, for example, or web healthcare applications that integrates the providers as well as the healthcare company as well as individual patients. These are good examples of enterprise IS. Understanding the different type of information systems leads to this discussion about information systems in organizations. So what is an organization in the first place? It is defined as a group of people that is structured and managed to meet its mission or set of group goals. There exist relationships between members of the organization and the various activities that they perform. And in addition to that, procedures are defined to assign roles, responsibilities, and authority for different people in the organization to complete those various activities. Organizations are open systems. They affect and are affected by their surrounding environments. For example, let's look at this diagram. So this is a general model of an organization where you have environments on the top. They consist of customers, suppliers, technology, shareholder, etc. And then from the environments, there are inputs of capital, equipment, facilities, labor, knowledge, etc. That leads to transformation process, which alter the inputs, manufacture, transportation, storage, and so forth, into outputs on the right. So outputs can be goods, services, and feedback. And then all this is monitored and controlled by the component at the very bottom, which also improve the output, goods and services, and feedback. Let's look at an example of Netflix. So Netflix as a company was initially set up by a group of shareholders, and that environment impacts the inputs by throwing capital to build the company called Netflix. Now, at the product level, Netflix acquires its regular content for TV shows and movies from its suppliers. And these suppliers provide these materials into inputs. And these inputs, these TV shows and movies goes through some sort of transformation process to alter it, to package it, to stream it, become proper products that you and me can use, goes into the output component, which are goods that is then streamed to us for consumption. So that's an example of Netflix going through this process. It's a very simple example. But the point is that there are many activities in an organization for members of its organization to work on to reach some defined goals and objectives. All these activities are part of a series of activities called value chains, which are performed by organizations to transform inputs into outputs. And for the most case, the value of those inputs are then increased. Now, one of the most famous or more popular value chains are supply chain, which is well used in manufacturing organizations. Now, there is this thing called supply chain management, which encompasses all the activities required to get the right product into the right customer's hands, in the right quantity, at the right time, and at the right cost. Here's an example of the supply chain value chain. So inputs come in from suppliers in the form of raw materials. It goes into inbound logistics, and then the receiving and storing and manufacturing is done in the operations. Then the outbound logistics covers things like storage and shipping. Then there's also marketing and sales, which involves advertising, promotion, selling. And finally, services, which involves customer service. Now, these top 5 activities are known as primary activities, and underlying them are the secondary activities, which involves technology infrastructure, definitely including information systems, human resource management, accounting, finance, procurement, and other departments and so forth. This is an example of supply chain, which is a type of value chain, which again is a chain of activities that is performed in an organization to achieve its strategic goals. A supply chain management links together both physical flows and information flows. Now, physical flows refers to the flow of supplies and raw materials, whereas information flows refer to how participants collaborate and communicate with one another, coordinate their work, managing the efficient flow of goods and materials. And IS play an integral role in the supply chain process. How? By providing input, by aiding product transformation, by producing output. Because IS is the engine underlying these activities of supply chain or value chain. In talking about processes and activities and value chains, we cannot avoid the topic about changes in organization. Why? Because products and services offered by organizations inevitably will be obsolete. For example, let's look at this video from Coral WordPerfect. WordPerfect is the most popular word processing software in its heydays in the 90s, but you probably never heard about it today.
If you want full Office Suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers Office Suite power at a word processor price.
So what do you think? Aren't you impressed with all those clip arts that they have? So again, current product services are doomed to obsolescence because the fact is that organizations need to innovate, which is the application of new ideas to products, processes, activities of a company or a firm, leading to increased value, which is the catalyst for growth and success of an organization. Innovation can lead to cutting-edge products, new revenue streams, increased profits. If you think about all the products and services that we have today, think about iPhone, think about Netflix, Airbnb, Uber, and many slew of products that we are consuming today came from innovative ideas, innovative application of new ideas that create new processes, new activities, new value chains. There are different types of innovation. One such is the sustaining innovation, which results in enhancements to existing products, services, and ways of operating. This enables an organization to continually increase profits, lower costs, and gain market share. But these types of innovation are incremental. They don't have huge impact. The other type of innovation is the disruptive innovation, one that initially provides a lower level of performance, and over time the marketplace slowly grow to accept those products and services, and then all of a sudden they overtake the existing products and replace them. Thus, these are disruptive innovation. Think about cell phones, for example. The first cell phone came out in 1973. It weighed about 2.5 pounds. Had a battery life of less than 30 minutes, and it cost $3,000. Today, you can get a cheap cell phone for about $100, has more than a day of battery life, and can take pictures, do all sorts of things. This is disruptive innovation. So for an organization to stay competitive, they have to change. There are two types of approaches that potentially can be used to help them improve their processes, activities, and value chains. One is called re-engineering. The second one is called continuous improvement. Re-engineering refers to process redesign. Business process re-engineering, or BPR, involves the radical redesign of business processes, organizational structures, information systems, and values of the organization to achieve a breakthrough in business results. As processes change, as activities change, their value chains will improve and the output will also improve. Continuous improvement refers to constantly seeking new ways to improve business processes and add value to products and services. As changes on the technical side, the process side, the value chain side of the organization occurs, there is or are corresponding changes that could happen on the employee side, the people side. These are called the soft side of implementing change. These changes could be things like conflicts, confusion, disruption, and so forth. This involves work designed to help employees embrace a new way of doing things, a new information systems, and so forth. We call this change management model, a model that describes the phases that an individual organization goes through in making a change. It provides principles for successful implementation of change. There are quite a number of models for dealing with soft side of implementing change. We will not go in depth into these models. These are Lewin's change model, Lewin's force field analysis, Levitt's diamond, user satisfaction and technology acceptance theory, diffusion of information theory. Please read through the details of each of these models in the book. I hope it is clear that organizations cannot compete without information systems, because information systems play a big role in providing competence and competitive advantage. Hence, IS workers, they play a pivotal role at the intersection of business and technology. IS workers are the ones that build solutions that leverage information technology. Hence, let's talk about careers in information systems. Now, successful IS workers must enjoy working in a fast-paced, dynamic environment. They meet deadlines, they solve unexpected challenges, they possess good communication skills, they have solid analytical and decision-making skills, they develop effective team and leadership skills, they are adept at implementing organizational change, they are prepared to engage in lifelong learning in a rapidly changing field. Of course, not everybody is perfect, but in most cases, IS workers should have a majority of this skill set to be successful in the industry. The IS industry is fast changing, fast moving, so the ability to learn, continuously learning, is a good asset. The type of technical skills that are important for IS workers to have are the capability to analyze large amounts of structured and unstructured data, ability to design and build applications for mobile services, programming and application development skills, technical support expertise, project management skills, knowledge of networking and cloud computing, the ability to audit systems and implement necessary security measures, web design and development skills, knowledge of data center operations. Now, again, not everybody is expected to know all, but to be an expert in a few of these is a big advantage. Tech is one of the fastest growing areas, and IS professionals are in high demand. In fact, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics forecasts an increase of 1.2 million new computing jobs between 2012 and 2022. Let me show you this chart that outlines the different types of careers in IS, outlined by median salary on the y-axis and expected new job openings from 2012 to 2022 on the x-axis. Some interesting positions, such as application software developer, computer systems analyst, they are both in high demand as well as high on the salary scale. On the lower end of the job openings, you may notice two job positions, database administrator and information security analyst. Now, although these jobs have lower number of job openings, but they do pay good money, 80,000 and 71,000. The job openings of 50,000 is considered high compared to many other industries. There is no doubt in general there's a high demand for IS skill set. So how does an IS organization look like? Typically, it is led by a chief information officer, supported by a chief technology officer, and there are three primary functions typically. One is operations, second is development, and third one is support. And within each function, there are multiple IS roles. The CIO's main responsibility as the head of the department is to employ the IS department's equipment and personnel to help the organization attain its goals. The CIO is usually supported by senior IS managers, all different levels, including the CTO and the managers within the different functions. It is very common for IS people to work within teams. In fact, it is very common for a lot of jobs today to work inside teams, but it is very typical in an IS career to work with teams. And these teams usually involve working with people from many different positions, different roles. Hence, it is always good for IS professionals to have good communication skills, the ability to work with other people. Now, there's this thing called virtual teams where these are groups of individuals whose members are distributed geographically, but work as a coherent unit through the use of information systems technology. I worked within these type of teams many times in my career. When I was working for American Express, I worked with individuals from India, from Australia, from the UK, as well as people from the US and Singapore as well. When I was working in Singapore for a French company, my outsourcing teams were in Vietnam. My customer was in Brazil. So again, a lot of working in virtual teams. The strength of working in virtual teams is you get the best available people from different area, the best people with the best skill set. But communication is one of the challenges in virtual teams. So email, instant messages, video conferences are essential tools in virtual teams. In summary, we review what is data, what is information, and what is knowledge, and what is information systems. When we talk about value chains, different activities, processes, their inside value chains, we also talked about IS in an organization. And we talked about changes and the soft side of implementing change. And finally, we reviewed careers in information systems. This is the end of this lecture. I look forward to see you in the next lecture. Take care.